I don't know. Fly casual.
Well, good evening. At least it's evening here. Sunday, December the 8th, on the end of the last of 2019. I can't believe this year has gone by as quickly as it has. It's been an absolutely amazing year, full of surprises and blessings, and definitely a lot of opportunity in the mix. I'm very excited to have been going at this channel since April and really starting to see the growth and where we're going. So you saw from that introduction that it appears that we are on the board for a Star Wars adventure. And what I have are the Rogue One activities, or Rogue One models. We're going to be putting together a couple of lit kits and then a couple of static models as we go. And I've not opened these yet, but from what I've seen on other builds online, the TIE Striker, the 1/72nd scale, and these are all Bandai kits, of course. The TIE Striker, the 1/72nd scale kit, I am going to try and light that, and that shouldn't be too terribly difficult, but it should be a lot of fun. And I know these are 1/72nd scales and 1/44 scales for this. And then I think it's like 1/500,000 scale for this Super Star Destroyer. I've always wanted to do a Super Star Destroyer, and I've never seen a real nice kit come on the market that was affordable for the Super Star Destroyer. I like its look, this elongated, sleek look, as opposed to that of the regular Star Destroyers with the abrupt back end and the bridge that comes up. I know the Super Star Destroyer has this lovely bridge here, but it's just such a long, sleek look. It's very, very cool. This has 13 engines in it, and it's my intent to do the 13 engines, and then I doubt if I'll drill out any holes in the sides, because there's just hardly no way to do it to scale. Unless you're just a little tiny pinprick of a hole, and I just don't think I can do that. But I'm going to light I'm going to try to light the engines, and it's such a tiny scale model that I don't think I'm going to have room for any other lights in that. But definitely going to do the Super Star Destroyer, and then I've been holding on to this kit for actually quite some time in the stash because I absolutely love this U-Wing fighter. In my opinion, that's just a very, very cool ship. Probably in the Star Wars universe, it's my favorite ship after the X-Wing fighter. Even probably over the Millennium Falcon, and I guess I'm probably sacrilegious when I say that. But it's just it's not necessarily a fighter, but it's a fighter. It's a freighter. It's not necessarily a freighter. It's a troop transport. It's not necessarily a troop transport. I guess it's just the workhorse of the fleet, and I always like the way that those wings stretch out and can go actually backwards, and they're kind of like mandibles on the front section there. Also included is another little 1/44 scale TIE Striker, and then two of the Imperial tanks, and that is very cool. So that's a nice little kit that I'm looking forward to doing along with these other two. So we've got the Super Star Destroyer, the U-wing fighter, the TIE Striker, and 2 tanks. But really the whole purpose of this is to do this TIE Striker. I'm not a fan of the TIE Fighter. I think it's a kind of a cool kit, but of all of the quote-unquote villainous ships, this one right here is probably the one that I think is just kind of the coolest out there. And I think what I'm going to be able to do is light up the cockpit and light up the ion engines in the back and these green lasers in the front. And if I've got room, I might try to put a red and a green nav lights. I'm not going to do any blinkers or anti-collision lights, but just a few lights in this, and very, very simple. One switch turns it on and off, and that's going to do it. So that is the kit as we move it forward, and that's what it's going to be. This is the first I've opened this, so again, I've not seen what this looks like on the inside at all. However, when it comes to there's been some open box reviews. I have seen some of those, but this is my first time actually putting eyes on the plastic or on the styrene in front of me. And from what I understand, it's a kind of a very cool kit. Right away, I'm seeing the green lasers here, and I'm actually going to try to put those on with the green light behind them. You've got a very small cockpit with the base here, the body of the fuselage, and then of course you've got your solar cells that I think are going to be wrapped up by this sprue here, which has the front and rear of the cockpit, and then it has the framework. And the nice thing about that framework, I think that because it can sandwich, I think that's where I can put a red and green nav lights on that particular portion of the sprue. And I believe this is probably, am I correct, this is the stand for it. Now, it's my understanding that one of these is stickers and one of these is water slide decals. I'm not sure which is which. Just from a perspective, these set here, I hope they're the water slides because they've got much more detail. They're much finer, and I think they look a lot nicer. So that is going to be the kit. There's some assembly instructions in there. And that is the TIE Striker. And out of all of these, that's probably the one that I'm most excited about doing. If I go and open up the Star Destroyer, and I believe I've seen this comes with a kit that one is a Star Destroyer and one is a Super Star Destroyer. And I think that this kit is really, really tiny. So there's only one bag, there's 3 sprues, one for the stand, one for the underside of the hull, and then one for the top right here. And this is your back of the hull on the top, and this is the back of the hull on the bottom. And I think that's all of your engine detail. And just from looking at that, it's going to just maybe fit a set of lights in each one of those. It'd be a small, tiny SMD that would go into each one of those. And the same thing, there's no decals with that because there's no markings on it. One page of assembly instructions, and that's it for the Super Star Destroyer. Now, from my understanding of seeing this built online, is that it really is only about that long when it's done. So it's going to be very tiny, probably about the size of my UFO triangular UFO that I did back in August or so. And then coming to the last box model that we're coming as part of this whole kit. This is the one that's the 1/44 scale, again from Rogue One with the U-wing fighter. So in here, same thing, one sprue for the TIE Striker, and that's even smaller yet, half the size of the 1/72 scale. This comes with red lasers, so that'll be an interesting change. How those come and go in there, and it looks like definitely some landing gear maybe for the I think this is landing gear for the U-wing. Here's some clear canopies, and I do think it's neat that Bandai was able to do clear coatings, or clear gray, dark gray, and red all on one sprue. And I don't know if it's it looks like maybe they are cast or injection molded and then snapped together, because there's a snap, snaps that there and there. So, you know, Bandai King of the snap together kits, but it looks like that is how they do that. Very neat, very interesting. Again, stickers here or water slides, I'm not sure which, for the U-Wing, and that is very tiny on this U-Wing. Same thing here as we pull up the last sprue here for the U-Wing. You can see the main fuselage there. Here's the underbelly, here's your mandibles, and then your 4 engines, it looks like. Maybe a few more kit parts here. Looks like the interior of the engines, maybe. And your stand with another set of stickers or decals. So I'm not sure which is which on that, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I'm not going to open the sprues or plastic. And then this is, my understanding, 2 kits, and I can see them in there. So there's the stand, and then there's 2 kits for one of each tank. So when you look at your U-Wing fighter and TIE Striker kit, you've got 2 of the tanks, the U-Wing and the TIE Striker, and I think this is probably the most portion of decals that are, or instructions that are out there. Looks like it goes together pretty straightforward, pretty simple. They're in English somewhat. And there's the TIE Strikers for just one sheet for the TIE Striker. It looks like there is 2 or 3 or 4 pages for the U-Wing, and then 1 page for the Combat Assault Tank. And that's really 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 15 pieces per tank, and then you're all said and done. And then this looks like your decal and color guide and marking guide. So that's what's on tap. Again, some more U-Wing fighter questions. So I've not done this many models together at one time. It's going to be an interesting understanding of whether or not I can do all 4, 5, 6 of these kits at once. All the color is about the same, and I'm not going to put a lot of complexity in it. The only ones I'm considering lighting at this point are the 1/72nd scale TIE Striker and the 1/500,000 scale Super Star Destroyer, and that's just the engines, and I'm not going to put anything else in there. But I thought this would be a nice little break from my Star Trek environment. I thought it'd be an opportunity to get some of these other things done, and with good reason, because the last one, as you know, took quite a bit of time, effort, and work. So this time out, I wanted to be just do something for fun. And I'm not a giant aficionado of Star Wars. I've enjoyed all the movies over the years, but I've not read the books and gone into canon and all that stuff. And then as a result, I'm gonna call some things by improper names throughout this build, I'm sure. Hopefully this won't take long. These Bandai kits, and again, these are my first Bandai kits, so they seem to be a lot of fun. I am going to try and paint them rather than just snap them together, because I think that looks nicer in the long run. So that is our path forward from the Sloppy Modeler here at the beginning of December. Like I said, December the 8th, Sunday night. I appreciate you tuning in. You could be anywhere else in the world watching anything else, because there's a million things out there on YouTube Plus. I appreciate that you spend a few minutes with me and start on this journey with me. I'm kind of thrilled to be doing another kit. Had a little bit of a break, and now we're on to the next set. So with that, thank you so much. Thanks for subscribing. If you like what you see, go ahead and share this video and hit the thumbs up if you really like it. I appreciate your views, and I appreciate your patronage.